Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 43rd episode of the HSBG podcast. I'm your host, Educatedcollins. I'm here with my constant co-host, except for last week, Shady Von Shay. How you doing?
I am well. It's good to be back. Uh, a week where we needed some guy that was like really high rated or whatever.
Technically.
Hope you guys were fine.
Sweet. I couldn't hear you for a second, so I had to adjust that cord. Right?
Okay.
No, but I can hear you
Disregard.
now.
Nothing of importance was said. Hey, Collins, how are you?
I'm doing all right. Same old, same old. Got a good podcast for us today. We got a lot to talk about. Well, we got a decent amount to talk about. Where we start with our weekly overview. I know you've been moving most of this week, so you haven't really had too much. And I know moving isn't always, what's the word, free of wars, of woes. It's not always perfect. Things always come up when you move, so I'm sure it's been somewhat stressful.
Overall, I do okay with stress, but yeah, there's been some stuff. For sure.
I mean, I was watching today. The electricity turned out, so yeah, you're being generous. I feel
that was amazing. It was just like the electrician just like hit the wire. Yeah, it was just a second. It's like, well, 1 second is all it takes, man, to turn off my computer. You're like, yeah. You think you know that being an electrician, huh?
Well, I mean, these things happen, right? Like, so.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. It's totally fine. I mean, if there's still stuff going on in your house where you're renovating or whatever, it's just like it's better than nothing. Being able to stream and having some disruptions.
Right. So, yeah, that's true. I've been okay playing some Hearthstone. Generally, doing pretty well. So,
couple games.
Yeah, this always happens, right? Anytime. I'm doing well. I'm just playing more. Like, that's the difference. Because normally I would just like play a little bit and then I'm like, all right, let's just stream with Shady or do something else, right? But if I'm like enjoying a meta or it's new or something, right? I just play more games and then it's a lot easier to do well if you're.
You do better, right? Yeah, it's crazy. You have a higher volume, you get better.
It's exactly. So I don't know.
Something there.
There is some secret there.
I'll put it out there because Collins won't say it. Collins, I think, is currently still rank 1 on the NA leaderboard.
Yeah. I it's in one of the topics because I know people will complain if I don't put it in there. So it's one of the topics. I will mention it, but yeah.
Sure.
It's currently rank 1. Who cares? It's fine. Let's move
on. Yeah, whatever.
All right. First thing, we got some tournaments to talk about. We've got a Shady tournament coming up, the first ever. So I believe this is for Shady Buddy Rally. If you want to participate, I believe it's only 16 people, right? So it's not like a gigantic tournament or something where it's not Celissa level, right?
I'm making it easy on myself. It's like 2 lobbies. There we go. And then after one half is gone, 1 lobby, bam, there we go.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about it more, like when is it, what time, and all that stuff?
So I still have to figure out exactly when we're starting. Right now, I'm thinking noon my time. It's going to be on the 20th of February, and the prize support is going to be $500. That's worth of Shady coin, but you can just bridge that out via Coinbase or whatever, the dollars or euros, whatever you like. So if you're not big into crypto or whatnot, you can just turn it into your preferred currency, no problem. Yeah, that's pretty much it. It's a community tournament, but obviously anyone can sign up. There will be priority to Shady coin holders if there are more than 16 people, but as it stands, there are it's not full yet. So if we have let's say 16 people or a little bit more, there's going to be multiple people in there that don't hold any Shady coin, and that's perfectly fine. It's just a tournament for a little bit of awareness around the coin as well. So it's only normal that people that support via holding the coin, they get early access, or they're sort of priority, I guess, on the entry.
Yep. Yeah, fair enough. Are you doing this one day?
It's going to be one day. and then yeah, it's just really just to get my feet wet, just like
Right.
try it out, keep it nice and small, cozy, and
Yeah.
then if it goes well and we have all the technicalities out of the way and the spreadsheets and all that, and we're like, all right, we can maybe expand it a little bit.
I can definitely help with that. I didn't know until like very recently during this. So, now that I know, I could definitely help you a bit. I could
Collins on
cast and
board.
all that. Yeah, of course I'll be on. What, of course, were you surprised? Like,
Well, I mean, you're busy getting rank
nah,
one and stuff.
who
right?
cares?
So,
It's not that important compared to, helping a friend. So,
yeah.
yeah, but that sounds cool, and if you need a caster, by the way, just saying,
I was going to ask, so it's I no longer need to.
For sure. So if you guys want to participate, I believe go to Shady's chat and put exclamation mark tournament, right? There's a link.
Yeah. You can also just go through the Discord. So
Discord as well. And you also need to put it
go
on
my Twitch
on
and
Twitter,
use
right?
on Discord.
Also on you should put it on Twitter. That's another thing.
Yeah, I'll put it on Twitter.
Okay. Just gotta get these things going. All right. Sounds good. Speaking of tournaments, we've got another one too. This one a little bit more recent on, I believe it's Sunday. Nicolina has her finals. So if you do want to participate as well, you can go to Nicolina's Twitter, and it's one of the most recent posts. So if you also want a quicker or earlier tournament, right? Shady's on the 20th. This one is, I believe, this weekend. I'll also be casting in this one as well. So if you do want, if you want to watch me cast, this is if you like that kind of thing, this is definitely another place to go there. So a couple of tournaments coming up recently. If you like that kind of thing, like watching tournaments or participating, we've got a couple in store. Moving on, I believe we've got the hot fix. Yes, Blizzard was like, we see problems, let's solve it. Slap some stickers on this, bam.
Yeah, the duct tape on the fucking wires. It was like, bam!
Meta is solved, guys. There are no more issues. And I'm just like, okay, yeah. So
that's the perfect beat. Oh, I'm so sad you didn't do that for like the topic. The guy just slaps the patch on there, bam! There goes
Yeah, I'm trying to make my topics quicker. Sometimes the genius comes in here, but this is like my easy way to make a topic. Just go to the patch thing and then copy the patch note title picture, and then bam, I'm done. It's easy stuff. They have a picture of Terragosa. I was like, perfect. That's exactly what the change is about. But we'll be talking about the change in depth and like my thoughts about it. But they're just changes to Terragosa, Maleficent, and Draconiv Enforcer. So just apparently they can't do like huge changes with hot fixes, so they can only do like small things. And another thing to note is that it's not going to be visually updated. At least the Maleficent change isn't visually updated. So if you're like not paying attention, not reading the notes, which this isn't like the general window they would put patch changes out, you might miss it and might be like baited into playing Maleficent if you wouldn't have with the new information and new changes. So yeah. But we will just talk about it, right? Maleficent's buddy is moving from a Tavern Tier 3 buddy to a Tavern Tier 4 buddy. So it's the Death Rattle Bomb Comp buddy where you just blow things up and it repeats for each of the mechs that died this combat. Cool thing about this one, like even if it's the first thing that died, it shoots 2 bombs. So it counts itself, which I didn't think it would, but it makes sense, logically. So it's pretty strong buddy. So my first thing, right, like this is the only hero change. So this is the hero they think is problematic and can be changed with bug fixes. No, they could have changed any hero, like, to be fair, right? They could have moved any two.
Yeah.
So this is the number one, right? Like this is we need to change this one. This is the problem. Everyone's losing to Maleficent. And I would say no, they're not. Not here.
You're not, right?
I know, right?
Or we're not in our bubble.
Yeah.
Right? But yeah, like, sorry, please finish it. You were gonna get to it, right?
In my lobbies, and this is not a problem at all. But I could understand that this hero in current iteration is brain dead easy, right? You just let me play some mechs.
Can't mess it up, man.
I'm gonna play some mechs. Woo! I got a Baron. Woo! I got a Kangaroo. Woo! I won the game. Like if you're like just like playing casually, it must be so frustrating because you're like trying, and then this guy just gets a buddy that says I win the lobby. Like especially at the lower MMRs, it does make sense that this has a huge outlier because as soon as you get the buddy, like they stop losing until like maybe like top 2 or in the lower MMRs, right? And that must in their stats and Blizzard stats, that must look so skewed, right? Where it's like, damn,
this is the best hero we've ever made.
yeah. So, this change isn't like for me or for us. It's for the casuals, right? Where this
the 98% other players.
Yeah, where this is a problem, buddy. So I understand it.
Yeah, it's just. I won a game with it myself where it's pretty silly. It's definitely not like a guaranteed win on high MMR. Like when it was 3 stars, I think the easiest way to describe it is people just get bigger on higher MMR, and this is this is very outscalable, right? You deal 4, you deal 4. Now it's a crap ton of damage, and you can deal so much damage. But if you have a Millhouse or a Gallywix that's running away with pirates or elementals, good luck with your bombs.
Or dragons.
Yeah, like 300 Hogger is like not really an exception, right? So it's like that's a lot of bombs, man, to kill a 300 Hogger. So good luck beating that. So yeah, it just gets, and also your Baron can get sniped and all that. So it's definitely not as good at high MMR as at lower MMR. But yeah, lower MMR, everyone's a bit smaller, right? Everyone's not as used to the game, and there's little efficiency things here and there, and they don't get the Cali a turn earlier, and et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, I can definitely see how this was oppressive.
Yeah, so I get it, right? But fix my meta. Fix my meta.
Yeah. fix my lobbies.
Yeah. But I totally understand this change, but it makes this hero for us, like for me, hard to play now. Because even before, I didn't really like this hero that much. So like I thought I would, and it was fun to play once, but like you don't win like that if you play this. Like I would use this for tempo, then go Buster or something, and that's a lot easier to do. But now it's a lot harder. I still see people playing it and doing like okay, but it's not like a guaranteed top 4. Where it used to be like a guaranteed top 4, at least even in high MMR, but now it's like you could still just die even before you get the buddy, like if you're unlucky, right? And you're still relying on rolling mechs. If you don't roll mechs in the early game, right? Like, I know.
I mean, yeah, you're playing Maleficent, right?
Yeah, I know.
The funny, the funny thing was when they introduced armor, you also saw Maleficent being like mid-range tier or something.
Right, true.
And that's the same thing where it's like, well, on lower MMR, it's just like buy mech. Yup.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, I can do that. I can buy mechs. And it's just these very straightforward game plans. Just Jiraxis is the prime example, right? We always say like Jiraxis is so terrible, and the lower MMR you go, the better Jiraxis gets because just buy demon, right? It's more straightforward. Yeah.
Feels good, man. More importantly, I think the more interesting change would be the Terragosa adjustment. So they've moved Terragosa from Tower Tier 3 to Tower Tier 4. This I think is the real only change in this patch, and not this patch, but this hotfix. Like this is what it will impact your games. Like Maleficent, no one is playing it anyways. I mean, people are playing it, but people are playing it less. But that's not going to impact your game. Like changing a hero that isn't like super top tier isn't going to impact your games. But Terragosa hero that people play every game, this is definitely going to change every lobby you see, and they're moving it from tier 3 to tier 4. So this change is weird, actually, because it doesn't like solve the problem, right? Like, like you could still get Terracosa, right? Like I think Tavish, Illidan, Ysera, um, those were like the three like super abusers of this minion,
Yeah.
right? But
Or
like,
Vol'jin, I guess, right?
and Vol'jin and Brucon also could do stupid things too.
Yeah.
There's a lot. Actually, damn, there's a lot. Okay, so there's quite a bit of abusers here, but now like it's not like you can't abuse it, right? It's just that you get it less, right? I think it hurts Ysera and Tavish the most, where
Yeah,
uh
those were the most straight up forwards guys, right?
yeah, where you got to roll with on 3, right, and feel okay about it because you could hit Terragosa. Now you can't really do that with Ysera, or I mean, you can still do that with Tavish. Tavish is weird because Tavish is still like strong. Even if dragons aren't in, you could just play Tavish and be fine. So like Tavish just has this like, oh, I win the lobby if I get one. Like, just this free bonus, but you could just play Tavish still and be fine. So it's weird for Tavish because he's strong anyways, but Ysera really hurts, I guess. I guess Ysera is the one that really cries because you're doubling the chance that it falters. You just have to play your Sarah differently, but it is weird. Illidan doesn't really care. Like, sure he used it, but like he's like, oh, I just play poisons. I'm fine. Like I have other
Honestly,
options.
it might even be better for Illidan for this to be out, so people don't try to do
Eh,
this instead of
it,
just put a max not there.
it,
It's
it
just
it's not bad because you only have to put it once and then it keeps it forever.
yeah,
Yeah.
but then you also need to play around it, right? So
What do you mean play around
like
it?
what I'm saying is
Oh, you need to
if you have a
buff it.
four,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
if you've got a 4/4
I see what
Taragosa,
you're
it does
saying.
new
Yeah,
shit, right?
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
people will be playing Illidan and be like, Taragosa, it's insane, I'm gonna buy it, I'm gonna buy it. It's
Oh,
just like,
okay, yeah, yeah.
okay, what
Yeah,
now, right?
sure,
Like you
sure.
still,
I'm talking about
oh,
good
and then
players. They just
yeah,
happen to
okay.
have like
Well,
30,
I mean,
30.
even still good
Yeah,
players,
yeah,
right?
sure,
They're
sure. They can. I mean, but
good.
it's easier to like just casually buff it, right? Especially if like gems are
Yeah,
in and stuff like that. You just like you pump something and then they're like, oh yeah, I'll pump my Terragosa. Woo, and then I have like 12 Terragosa. All right, I'm gonna leave it till I get like a Kali or something, and then and then it's still like Divine Shield or so, and you can get like it gets so stupid when you give it Divine Shield too, right? So then it's
yeah.
a Divine Shield Terragosa with immunity twice, like. What is this? And then it can get Divine Shield again if you keep a Nadine and you're playing Dragon. It's just like what? Anyways, I digress.
Yeah, we'll
It's
just
weird.
clarify for the listeners who haven't done this or seen this. Illidan's buddy makes your leftmost and rightmost minion immune when they attack, either once or twice, depending on if the buddy is golden or not. But the Taragosa will remember this immunity, so you don't have to put her in position 1 or 7 to keep the buff. So you can technically have a bunch of Taragosas who all have this immunity effect going on and then still have some poisons on the edges or so. So if you have a promo Drake and you can make
Ridiculous.
them large, it's ridiculous, of course, because Taragosa promo is already stupid. And then you're like, well, let me just like make them immune for a bunch of attacks, no problem. So yeah, it's very, very nasty.
I'm not a fan, but yeah, I don't know if they're going to adjust Terragosa. I bet they're gonna look at their stats and be like, oh, it's fine now, and it's like it's not a problem. And then Tavish is
It's
like,
one of the most annoying ways to. It's exactly the same logic in nerfing Shutterwalk. It's like, yeah, it's less likely to high roll now. It's fine.
yeah.
Just like, can we just kill it? Can we just like remove Taragosa? Come on, like I get that people like doing the meme with like, oh, I have the big trickster, and now I have the big dragon, and then it gets a bigger demon, and it's like, oh, it's so good.
With
But
Vol'jin, it's actually so dumb too, right? Because like
yeah,
now
there's
you
so
have
much.
the body, so now you have infinite attack.
You have
Like,
damage as well, right?
yeah,
Yeah. So it's I don't know. I feel like this card just I feel like it's also going to limit design in the future by so much. We're like, ah, this would be cool. Yeah, but Terragosa. Because no, I can play Terragosa. Right? It's absolutely broken. So it's just yeah, it feels it feels bad. I don't know, to have this card in the game. I don't know what your opinion is, but it
You
doesn't
you
feel.
can change it to only like take stats or something and not get the immune effect, right?
Yeah, but even stats, I
Yeah,
hate
I
that you
know.
can play promo Gosa. Why is that a thing? I hate it.
Another thing is like Millhouse is happy with this change, by the way. You can just be Millhouse, get the buddy cycle fours, and now you can get both pieces. Right? So that's something to think about if
Oh,
you're playing Millhouse and dragons are in,
mm,
right?
I pretty much never do that.
Yeah, I know,
Just
but I'm
'cause,
saying it's an option. Like you
yeah, because like you, the thing is though, spam buying fours. There's a lot of fours.
yeah, that are
We have a
good. Yeah, that are you can
Yeah, no,
hit.
no, no. There's a lot of fours that aren't Terragosa promo. That's what I'm
Oh,
saying.
but
So
like
you
let's
could
say
have.
dragons elementals are in, right? If you just buy fours, you hit if you hit the elemental Rathru, then you
Okay, so
play that.
we've been playing Millhouse different. I've been just going nuts on one drops and just
Sure.
pulling a bunch of fives, and I've pretty much won. I think I've lost one Millhouse game where I was just like, okay, I
You
messed
can
up
do
this game.
that too. I mean, I do that too. I'm just saying there are options, Shady, if you want to.
Yeah, but we shouldn't let
Okay,
people be like,
let's
oh,
say
you can do the four drop cycle thing on Millhouse. It's just
you can also
But yeah,
cycle one drop. Sure, you can cycle fives and play
I guess
pirates, like whatever.
I
You
guess
there's options.
if pirates and elementals are out, and you have to play Millhouse, sure, maybe you want to
I'm
cycle
just
five.
saying, like I'm trying to throw a wrinkle in their plan, like oh, going to like making it four is always good. No, Millhouse is like yeah, I have an option now. I can do this. I'm just trying to make them think as a designer, like oh, what does this actually do? You know, that's all. I'm not saying this is like a viable strategy you should force every time. I'm just saying
Well,
like.
see, I want to throw that disclaimer out because people are just like, noted, Millhouse Dragons, noted.
Okay,
I got it.
fine.
Yeah,
I mean,
personal
Millhouse Dragons
pronoun.
is good. Wait, get Callie's. It's.
Yeah, okay, but that's not a hard one to catch, right?
I know. I'm just saying, like, it's okay. Fine. Get your disclaimer in there. But overall, about this change, it's better for the game, right? Like, just generally harder to get. There's the main thing is there's less Terragosas in the pool, so it's harder to get, right? And then you also have to be higher level to get the first copy. So like Tavish can't scale super early. They have to level to four. So uh, overall, it does make the game more balanced. But is it like does it fix the problem? No. You can still high roll, but it is harder to high roll. But I've still just seen Tavish with like double Terragosa, just like, well, what did I do here? Like they just have 300. It's like that was a fun game. Like I don't know, like nothing to do here but die, right? So it still happens. It's just like slightly less, or not slightly, but less. So, and final change for the hot fix: they moved Terragos to 3, so I mean to 4. So some sucker has to receive the beating and go down to 3. I mean, maybe it's not you're not a sucker to get 3, but like like you used to be a 4/6.
This I like it's so you can get those shops on three now, right? Or like get a whirly and you're like, ooh, nice. It's like
And
good tempo.
I don't care. I'm just like, well, this is better for George. Is like that's how I look at it. And
Sure.
it is better for George, but I don't know. It
I don't
doesn't.
know, like George, it feels like George is just like, I just get a good enough early game and then my Carl carries me.
Yeah, I agree. Like George
So
doesn't need
crazy.
it, but it's technically better for George. Like, does George need this? No, I agree. But maybe
Yeah.
you level to 3, you roll like Enforcer, Quobor or Gem Splitter. You're like, hey, let's go. I've got it now. Like, so it's pretty good. So yeah, not the most like impactful change I feel, but if you're playing George, I guess I don't know what else to talk about this. Shay says he likes the tempo, but I don't care. Anyways, what is our next topic? I believe our next topic is. Oh right, I'm rank 1. That's right. Yeah, I feel I had to say that. So I've just been playing since the beginning of the patch, right? Just been playing games. Definitely playing more than I normally do. I'm really only playing because I want to participate in Lobby Legends. That's like my one reason here. And I just know you need to be high placement. So, I'm just playing games. Here we go. But they haven't told us like the final details, so I don't know. But I'll just try to hover around the requirements. That's just my game plan. I'll just hover around the requirements until we participate, and hopefully I make it. So that's my goal. I don't think the rating matters right now, just because it's not the final. It's not what they're gonna use for picking their tournament players. So I just happen to be holding rank 1. But as you play, you fluctuate. Like losing a game is like minus 130, right? So like if I lost 130, I'm out, right? Like it's gonna fluctuate, but just for now I have it. Good for me. I've been getting like congratulations every day, and it's like I'm like, okay, guys. It's very funny. All right, but yeah, very cool. I think it is an achievement. It feels good. It's been a couple of days now, so now it's like, okay, thanks, guys. But it is what it is. I did want to talk about some of the heroes. Just like some of the so generally I want to talk about like my experience, right? Like, what I think is good and stuff like that, just to help people, because it's not the people always be like, oh yeah, what are you doing? What's your secret strat? And I'm just like, what are you talking about? I just play the game, nothing's really. I'm just playing more games, than I normally do. There's no secret strat, but there are things I'm doing differently, of course, right? And there's also like some fundamentals that I guess I'm picking up on that other people are not, right? So there's definitely things to learn just from watching me, but it's not like I'm like massively 5-braiding all my opponents, every game, not some games for sure, but not every game, right? So I do want to talk about some of the heroes that are interesting, right? If you look at the replay data, I do think the data is like generally accurate as a tier system, not like the list, like 1 to 10 I wouldn't put the same, right? But like the strong heroes, the hero selection is very important, I think. And I hate that personally. I really don't like it when hero selection is so important, but with the buddy system, it's even more important than it is. The one like nice thing is that there's a lot of broken stuff, right? So you can get away with like, oh yeah, my opponent, there's an Illidan George, Vol'jin in my lobby, but you're playing like Lich Bazal and Maiev or Millhouse, right? So you feel like, oh yeah, you can compete if you do your own thing, right? So that's the nice thing. But if you don't get like any of those, like, oh, I could win the lobby heroes, it does feel really, really bad. So that is a caveat, but there's not much I think we can do about it right now, right? We have to play in the meta we are in, right? So hopefully when the patch comes out, they'll change some heroes, they'll add armor or something. Another thing I've noticed even with no armor, people aren't dying. At least in my lobbies, they're not dying till like turn 11. I'll have my the first death in turn 11. Like they're so like sticky. I don't know the word, but they just don't die. I'm like, you're dying, right? And they don't die. I'm like, what's going on? There'll be so many games where I'm just like, it's turn 11. Why is everyone alive? Right? There's no armor. There's no like caveat. And just like, I guess like when everyone has like strong heroes, like, they fight for survival, and the tempo looks different, right? You can have someone go low, but it's not that they're weak, right? It's because they're waiting a turn to pop off, and then they pop off, and then they're still low, right? And the people that are like high tempo early, and then they start losing to the low people, and then everyone's like, single digits and stuff like that. I'm like, damn, okay. So that's just something interesting. Like even without the armor, people are still not dying, but I do think the armor wouldn't affect a lot of the heroes that people are playing, right? So it might still be okay just to introduce armor. If I'm seeing like Illidan with armor, I'm getting mad, right? I'm gonna slap somebody, but not really. But I'll be like, oh, what's going on here? But yeah, Illidan makes sense, right? Illidan's pretty broken. Murloc's beast, right? You just kill too many things. Vol'jin, I think, is super safe actually. Even without mechs, you can just play cleave stuff. If mechs are in, just like reset, deflect those with infinite attack. You don't even need dragons, right? Some people are saying you need Chroma Wing to scale, but like triples are like insane, right? Triples triple the attack value if you do it correctly, because you're eight, you have 8 on 2, and then you can swap to the third one, right? So like it just triples your attack. So just having triples just like scales infinitely. So you could just get broken stats even without any crazy thing. So just a very safe hero. Zarella is super strong. Queen Wagtoggle I think has been like sleeper good, right? Well, not sleeper anymore, but like initially sleeper good. I actually haven't played a single Wagtoggle game personally, but I know it's good. Like I've seen people play it, and it's just solid, right? If you have elementals in, I think even like anything with 2 types that give econ, right? You just cycle down one and just scale forever. I do think if you want to win, you need Murloc's out for sure, and then Beast like if Beasts are out, then stats are the only thing that matters, and you can still like compete, right? But the thing is like you'll get outstatted. That's the one issue with Wagtoggle, right? Most heroes will outstat you, so it's like top 2, top 3. But if you don't like your heroes, like that's great. Like that's so good. Same thing with Lich Bazal, right? Like if you can stay on one with her too, and you can win with her. Like I think it scales harder than Queen Wagtoggle. It's maybe riskier because you need to find one specific unit compared to Wagtoggle. You just need like anything, you know? Like so. It is slightly riskier, but it's still just relatively safe. Gets you your top 2, right? Really good placement. So those 2 are super solid. George as well. I don't see people ghouling me. I don't know if it's a meta thing or if it's just like people are too focused on their own game style.
I gotta fit this buddy on my board. There's no way I can fit a ghoul. Okay, all right. I think that's what a lot of people.
I think what happens is you're either focusing on your own game's plan, so it's hard to like roll for a ghoul. I need to spend my turn rolling for a ghoul in case or you're too strong, you just destroy people, so you don't care about ghoul. Like those are the 2 things that happen when I'm playing George. Either like they're like doing something, and they need like every piece, and they're like, okay, yeah, I see it. Or they're just like insanely strong and they murdered me, and I'm just like, yeah, I guess you don't need
to be fair, you weren't really getting ghouled before anyway, right? On ladder, I don't know.
I was getting gold. I was getting.
I don't know. I'd have so many George games where I'm like, why am I not getting ghouled? This is crazy.
That's true. I mean, that is true, but like, okay, when I play against George, I buy ghouls. So I'm just...
Yeah, me too, right? It's so frustrating. It's like, here I go, rolling away 10 gold.
Yeah.
For sure.
That's
such
true.
A stupid design thing where you're like, the George is strong, and you're like, well, nothing I do matters until I find this ghoul, so I have to roll for ghoul. Like, oh, I can't buy that pair, I can't buy that buff, just roll, get the ghoul.
Yeah.
It's like a discipline thing you learn.
Yeah, because that's true. You get killed by George because you don't have a ghoul like too many times, and you're like, all right, fine, let's do it.
It's just a mental note.
Yeah, Tavish definitely got weaker with the Taragosa trains, but it's still Tavish. Like the thing about Tavish is once you get your buddy, you like win your next 2-3 battles. Like almost like you get too many stats. I think as soon as you get your buddy. Like you get it like what turn 6 or something, and then you're getting +12 on for free. But it's stronger than getting like +12 because you're changing the breakpoints of minions so that they can 2-shot, right? So your minions that normally 1-shot units will now 2-shot, right? So it's 2 different minions, right? So you just win your fights. So it's pretty good, and you can play like cleaves, you can play like anything, and if you get a Taragosa, you're like, all right, you're like guaranteed top 4. It's still very safe. It's harder to. You used to like be on 3 and roll on 3. Now it's like it doesn't feel as good because you can't hit Taragosa. So sometimes you wanna ramp, but I do think you just like play safe, right? And if you hit the Taragosa, you hit it. If you don't, do something else, right? Like it's still a very strong hero. It's one of those heroes where like the hero power screws up comps sometimes. Like you can like just like snipe something super important for their comp and ruin what they're trying to do. So even without the buddy, like the hero power is a good hero power. So and it's 0 mana. Like this is a strong, like it's a strong hero power. Like I don't know, like it's pretty crazy. So yeah, definitely still a good hero. Maleficent definitely got worse with the change. So um, you know, you die more, I think, but I don't know. I didn't really love the hero. I think if you do get Maleficent, like it's still pickable because it's gonna be better than some of the other options, but you just have to play super safe early and try to get your buddy. Maybe stay on one and just like pick up the micro mummy. Micro mummy is super strong with Maleficent. So if you can abuse that, that's pretty. Dancing Daryl, I haven't played actually, or maybe I played once. So, but it just seems like it's still Daryl, right? Like you just get your top 2 or 3 or 4 and leave, right? Like,
I think we can take a moment to say thank you for the rate, RDU. Normally
oh,
we're just podcasting, but it's a very generous rate.
hey,
Thank
are
you.
you? Hope you're doing well. Thanks for the raid. Sorry, I don't look at the chat
No,
usually.
we're just absorbed in the podcast.
Yeah, I got a full focus on the podcast, try to get the information out or whatever. I don't care. I just don't look. I get distracted. Shady looks. So if there's audio issues and stuff, he tells me.
Yeah.
That's usually how it goes. But yeah, thank you. Um, BrewCon. So BrewCon's really interesting just because I get mixed reviews from other players, right? Where it's like, BrewCon's whatever. My initial BrewCon games were like insane. I think I was like average, first or second every game. Like, and then like I talked to Lee, he was like, "Oh, I'm struggling," and then he cursed me. As soon as he said that, I was like, "Wait a minute, am I supposed to be losing?" I still think BrewCon's good, right? Like the elements, he's super flexible, right? He's like a Nefarian, right? In the late game. Okay, I need to talk about tier 2 buddies. Tier 2 buddies
Yeah.
that you can keep on the board is so broken. Like any tier 2 buddy that you can keep on the board until you get your golden, it's like that hero is strictly better. Like I think is better than any other
On the
hero.
house, right? You get it
It,
on the house.
it,
It's like, oh,
for
here, you get
free.
a 6.
Yeah, it's at least for me. Like my playstyle, I play tier 6, right? Like for years since the game came out. It's been how I play. And if you're telling me, hey, Collins, you're gonna get a 6 drop for free every game, like I'm like, what? How is this fair? For me, like obviously some players, right? Like they'll get 5s and whatnot, right? But you know how I play, right? I pretty much always get 6s. Well, not that's not true. I mean, that's not true at all. Like it depends on what's in and what I'm trying to do. But a lot of games I will get 6s, right? And it's just like so strong to have a buddy that just like you can keep. You don't feel bad keeping it, and then you just get a free 6, right? Like it makes it hard to pick other levels of buddy because tier 4, if you get the golden buddy, like you've already won the game. Like you must already be like insanely strong. Like if you're getting like golden Ragnaros, if you're surviving to that, you're so strong already, right? Same with tier 3. It depends on your heroes. There's some tempo. So there are some tempo hero powers, right, which kind of adjust how the buddy beater works. So like Sorrowfang, right, has a tier 4 buddy. It actually works like you have a tier 3 buddy because the hero power of Sorrowfang gives you so much attack that you'll make up for having a tier 4 buddy because of your tier 3. So there's some hero powers. Tavish works the same way, right? It feels like you have a 2.5 buddy, not a tier 3 buddy, because
Yeah.
of you're getting like the hero power damage every time, and then you're getting like once you get your your stats in, you just get so much every turn. So there are some like tier 3 buddies that kind of work like almost like a tier 2 buddy where like in most games you're gonna get it golden, right? Tavish, Gallywix, right? But Gallywix you don't keep. But like if you're alive with Gallywix, you'll get your second proc, right? Like uh, that's why Sky Captain, right, initially looked really good, but once we played it, right, it's just so slow, right? Sky Captain
Oh,
doesn't
it
have the
starts so
yeah.
slow, yeah.
You don't have that early game tempo, right? Unless you use your hero power like turn 3 or something, right? To buy one extra minion, like you're half a millhouse for half a turret. Like it's not worth it, right? It's um, that's the real issue, right? Like the the tier 2 buddies are just like way better, like just strictly better than
But
anything else.
that's definitely a balancing thing that I think I'm gonna struggle with in this current meta. It's just so insane, like getting a tier, like just like tier 4 buddies. It almost feels unplayable, right? It's just like it
the
takes so
the
long.
the issue with tier 4 buddies that are good is that they all have high 8th place rates, right? And like if you're trying
Mm.
to climb, that's so hard to convince
Yeah, you
yourself to
can
do.
take an eighth. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Like I took an 8 today. I wanted to stop playing. I did stop playing. I had to prepare for the podcast, right? But then I'm just like, ah, man, what am I doing? You know, it's like the risky heroes are so punishing, you know, and so it's just tough. I think, right? That's my issue with Maleficent. The change, right? Like, how do I play this hero anymore? But I mean, I understand it, right? Because it was too broken in the stats. But I that's my deal with
So
buddies.
the hero that I'm really missing in this picture is Barov.
Oh,
And
I just put the tier 1 list. This is not a list of heroes I resonate. I'm gonna go.
no. It's just I guess it's just the
Barov has the
it's
same issue, though. I think Barov's one of the highest high roll heroes. But if you miss your bets, right, like
I mean,
it
I don't
hurts.
know. I haven't had a bad
Okay,
Barov
I
game
played
yet.
a Barov game. My first 3 bets are ties. Like, what am I supposed to do? What am like? How do I outplay that? I don't know. I got tied. They tie it. I'm just like, well, you know, screw
Well, you
me.
still get 2 gold for
Yeah,
each of those
I know, but
coins.
it's not broken, right? It's not
No,
broken.
okay, it's not broken,
Yeah,
but you're getting like a
I get
really,
2 gold.
really
Wow.
you
Okay.
get a really, really bad low roll, and it's still okay, right? That's the thing.
But is it okay, right, in this meta to low roll like that, right? Other heroes like the power level of
So
boards have
stay
dropped.
on
Like,
1 with Barov pretty much, right? I
huh?
think you're gonna do that. I stay on 1 with
Yeah,
Barov,
yeah, of course, yeah, sure.
of course, right? So you're still getting your buddy in an okay-ish time
Yeah, yeah,
if you're gonna double level on
yeah.
7
I know, but
or go on
it's
6
not the
or whatever.
same. Shady. It's not the
Okay, yeah,
same.
it's not batshit crazy OP,
You
but
can't win if you get
But you
ties. You gotta
what you are talking about, getting 3 forced ties
is
is
rare.
so
Is yeah,
unlikely.
I know. But this is just a recent game that I remember.
Yeah,
That's
okay,
all.
but we could talk about like, this Shutterwalk, man,
Well,
and
you
just
can
like
lose the
no
bets.
poke.
You can lose the bets too. Like what? I mean, it's not like it's
You can. I don't know, but okay, so previous meta, you could also lose your bets, but
yeah.
Barov was so good, was so S tier for really good players because really good players rarely lose the bets.
Damn.
I feel like if
I
you're
must
really,
suck. You know,
really
Pepe hands.
No, I mean, if you're really in the meta,
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
like, okay,
sure.
this person's doing
Yeah,
that. This
I
person's
know, I
doing this.
know.
I know they're buying this. They're leveling here. Boom, 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 boom. So, and if you just,
Sometimes I feel like they're like trolling me, dude. I'm like, you win every
it's
time.
count.
Like
It's count on the barrel.
you're Brucon in the early game. How do you lose? How do you lose this battle? I was like, how does this Brucon lose? And I watch his board. His board is super struggling. Like, what the hell happened? Did he just not hero power? Like, I don't get it. You know, like, anyways, I've played a lot of games. Have a lot of memories, but yeah, it's.
Okay, well, maybe I'm just due for a bad Barov game, but
I'm not gonna give you that. I hope all your Barab games are fantastic, very easy wins.
well, I love playing Barov because he does tier 6 gaming so well.
So well, I know it's so brutal. It's so broken, dude. My first Barab game, I was on tier 6, turn 6. It's like, how do you lose? Like, I don't understand.
I had 2 fell bats on turn 8 my last Barov game. It's just like, yeah, it's like, all right, good luck, everyone.
Definitely a high roll hero if you win your bets, and you also have to win your fights, right? Because you need to get your buddy right. So if you win your bets and you're playing tempo enough to also win your fights, or at least get enough buddy meter, it's so strong. So yeah, definitely like that hero, for sure. it's one of those heroes with a high eighth place rate, right? Like, so you do have to be careful, right? Like generally, you can like, I guess that's the difference between like the heroes on those lists, right? All the heroes on the list don't really have that high eighth place rate. But you know, Barov, right? You can miss your bets, right? This isn't like the highest MMR players, right? I'm sure like as you get higher, you know,
Yeah, like
it falters, but
that's something I want to like pick your brain on here.
yeah,
So I've played some Galley and some Millhouse, and it just feels like
broken as shit,
there's
right? There's no way to lose
like how can any like maybe Illidan, right? If he has a good opener and then he
yeah,
poison
yeah,
scams
yeah,
you in
yeah,
the end,
yeah,
but
yeah,
like if elementals slash pirates are in and you're
yeah, yeah,
playing Millhouse, like how do you lose? Like it's so insane. Like I've lost I think one Millhouse game where I was just getting overwhelmed. And since then I've just made it very simple. Okay, just keep the Nomi, keep the reroll, fuck the rest. Like don't go the brand, blah 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 blah. Just go, 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 go. And you still don't finish your turn, right?
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. I played on Millhouse like after the stream, like I just played a game. I just got Millhouse and I'm just like, yeah, all right, can't finish my turn. Yeah, okay, can't finish my
yeah.
turn.
Yeah, I
Like,
reconnect every single turn
I
on
okay, so I
Millhouse.
don't reconnect, so but
Yeah, but it's still
still,
like you still don't finish your
yeah,
turn though,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's like if you have a golden reroll elemental and the buddy, it's like good luck finishing your turns. It's just
I
every elemental is free, every Tavern Tempest is free. God forbid you have a brand on the board because then now you're making money off those tempests. So it's just and you're never paying for a reroll. So it's so insane.
yeah, I know. Like,
And then Gallywix, right? Gallywix was already so strong, and then they give him that one thing
I
that he
don't
needed to
get
say,
it, right? Like
"Oh, you were a little weak, like as you wanted to go tier 5. Here's like plus 15, plus 15." Like tier to 5, it's fine. It's just because you can really set it up where you can tier for the 10 gold going to 5, and then maybe have some leftover gold from the previous turn that you sold tokens, and that 10 gold spent on tiering is the same as 10 gold spent on minions, so you still get that buff, so you get to be really strong while pushing 5, and that's just so insane for that's so insane for Gallyway. So it's like I'm not really losing my Gallywix games. I'm not really losing my
right,
Millhouse
yeah,
games.
yeah.
Sure, it can happen, right? But you feel so incredibly dominant, and you're so likely to get first place.
Yeah,
That yeah,
if I don't die with those heroes, you win, right? Like it's weird to say, but like those are the heroes where that statement really feels correct, right? If I just don't die, I win. Like I just
yeah,
get
it's
infinite
over
gold.
for the
Yeah,
rest, right?
yeah,
Like even Illidan needs to have the perfect poison scam ready, right? Because you're going to have these, mm, like 200 cleave elementals, 150 divine shield elementals. So he needs to have the perfect scam ready to take that number one away from you.
yeah. With I mean, Elden could do it, right? I mean, but you know, it is more work, I guess. I mean, it's technically more work since you're doing more APM with the other heroes, but you know, if you have all the gold or the rerolls in the world, it's a lot easier to like find something, right? Where Illidan you have to roll specifically, figure out, okay, do I want this? Do I want that? Is this good? Da da da. Right? That's
Yeah,
true.
you can just not get max now, right? You can not get 7, and then you're just like, oh, I just have a good comp, but doesn't do anything against the unlimited stats on the other side.
Sure. Yeah, yeah, sure. But yeah. Moving on. Millhouse, right? We just talked about Millhouse, right?
Yep.
The buddy is just gives you that.
Tier 2 as well, right? Unbelievable.
Yeah, I know, right? I mean, a lot
And
of
you're no
these.
house.
I
So you're
know.
slapping
You
everyone early.
you Millhouse is the one you get the buddy so early, right? You can get it like
Yeah, turn
turn
5 at
four.
the very, very latest, and
Yeah,
a lot of the time it's turn 4. But not always, right? You can have your games where
yeah, yeah. Not
you're
always for sure.
strong. But yeah, it can happen on turn 4, which is silly.
Yeah, that and Illidan as well, and Mukla,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Mukla.
So I think this is a really important thing to throw out when we're talking about these 2-star buddies as well. Having overkill damage contributes to your buddy meter. that is such an important thing for people to realize is so your buddy meter fills up when it flips over and it's just, like, okay, I'm done for the turn. You're not getting anything out of me anymore. If you have like a 20 damage Chroma Wing, it just attacks one time and donk, the meter's full.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's a design thing where they say we can't make it effective damage because it's too complicated or weird if you're up against someone with just tokens and you can only deal like 1 damage max and it wouldn't be fair. Like, I don't understand, but right now it feels this is an analogy I used on stream where for anyone who's played World of Warcraft, where I'm just padding the meters. I'm not trying necessarily to win the fight. I'm not trying to have perfect damage. I just want to deal more damage. I don't care where the damage goes, right? As long as it's not into a
Yeah,
shield.
yeah. My
You know,
positioning has changed, right? You like back in
yeah,
the day, I would put like, okay, so we're gonna fight a acolyte, right? I got to put the
yeah.
2 attack here to the 1 attack to free kill the acolyte. Then I get
No.
the. Now I'm just like damage. Like,
Yeah, the thing is like you want to have that 3 health Chroma Wing attack into the acolyte so that it survives and it gets to go again, right? And then it gets double value. So yeah, it's very, very, it's so weird that that's the case, and I don't know enough about it to say, oh, this is clearly wrong, but it definitely changes the way how you play. And the early game,
yeah,
my point of getting to here is why Illidan is so good is he gets extra damage.
yeah,
So the
yeah.
meter feel like he's got a 2-star buddy, and the hero power pushes the meter to fill up even faster.
Yeah, you could
It's so
revert.
insane.
You could revert that attack buff, right? But then I'm sure that
Yeah,
would
okay. I
hurt him
mean,
quite a bit, right?
right. Yeah,
Because
okay, sure.
he gets his buddy like quite a bit, like a little bit later.
Sets him back a bit. It's true, but I feel like I would rather have
You'd
a
still play
meter
Illidan. Like
change.
obviously, you'd still
Oh yeah,
play.
obviously, like
Just.
you're not playing him for the damage. It's just he doesn't need it. But I really just feel like the meter is so weird right now, where it's all about, well, let me just, like, when I play Brucon, I just take the double attack thing all the time.
Yeah.
I
In
just
the
try to,
early game, yeah, for
yeah, you get
sure.
like a 5 damage Weaver. That's a 10 damage Weaver, and if that attacks 2 times, your meter's full.
Yeah.
So I was just doing that, and chat was like, "Oh yeah, I see." It was like, "Why not take the AOE?" He's like, but look at my meter, chunk. It's like, I don't care, just fill the meter, just get the buddy faster.
Yeah,
But
for
I
sure.
think, yeah, that's a big part of the meta. Once people really catch on to that, I think that's when we're really gonna see like, oh, so everyone is now doing it. Oh, and they get their buddies really fast as well. It's really about whoever got a better early game now, because.
Well, I mean, I'm seeing that already, so
Yeah, yeah, okay. In your rank one,
Nah, it
I
doesn't
get
matter.
it.
I'm just saying, like, people are catching on for sure. So.
Yeah, yeah. Oh well, it's definitely it's the biggest change we've had so far, just in how play styles have shifted.
Yeah. The buddy has changed playstyles for sure, and it's made the early
Yep.
game more tempo. You can't go 3-on-3. Like, I feel like that's mostly suicide. Like, I sometimes still see Gale Wings do it, but I don't know. I don't like it. Like, I haven't done it, but I like
Yeah, you're
theoretically, I
just
don't
so
like
far
it. Yeah, you're so
behind.
like
I've done
losing.
it on Cookie, where you just get like,
The
you have the
cookie
really
gets it
good.
a turn earlier.
Yeah. Well,
So
Cookie, you get, and if you have a good setup with the dragons and you get the bronze warden, right? That's
yeah,
like 2 damage, 2 damage, 2 damage, 2 damage, and it's all shields, so you deny that. That's another thing. If another
shields
thing,
are
guys.
broken. Yeah.
If you want to mess with your opponents,
Uh,
get a shield.
No,
Because what happened
if you
when?
want to mess with your opponent, dude, people do this to me, and I'm like, are they just trying to tell me they go double red wealth, and I'm just like, why? Why are you buying wealth
Yeah,
just to screw me? I'm just like, oh my god, like it. But yeah, I mean, shields are the reasonable line, but yes, I've been hit
yeah.
with
If you can
wells.
deny your opponent dealing damage via either, something like a tank or a red whelp, just be like, you don't get to attack, you don't get to attack, or hey, that's a 20 damage minion. That's very nice. Too bad it's going into a shield, so it's actually only getting the shield bonus, not the 20 damage.
The shield bonus is basically, I think, 1 damage, so it's not good.
Yeah,
It's
it's
not good at
so
all. Yeah.
you get so ripped off if
Yeah.
your Chromoing goes into a shield.
It's so bad. Like, shield bonus is not. I thought it was gonna be good, right? I was like, oh, popping shield. Like before we got the patch, I was like, oh,
Yeah,
popping shield. So buying a mech
it
isn't that
didn't.
good, but it's actually the opposite. Like you just screw people over so hard. So yeah, feels annoying. I guess I don't know. It. I don't know. How do you deal with that though, right? But yeah, I feel like it's more of a code thing where they have like, oh,
Yeah,
because it's the
I
same thing
think
with Tavish, right? If you shoot a shield, you get no damage, so it's not even one damage, right?
I
So it's
think
probably
that's
coded.
I think that's fair because you're not actually dealing damage;
I
you're just
know,
removing
I
shields.
know, I know, but I'm just saying, like, it messes the buddy meter up super hard because it's coded that way, right?
Yeah, or you get a ghost.
Oh yeah, ghosts
So
suck.
annoying.
Ghosts
You get a
suck,
ghost. It's
dude.
like
Yeah,
I get no buddy meter.
that's true, man. It's so weird,
Such a
right?
big
Before, normally you get a ghost, you're like, yeah, like
yes.
free turn.
Or we already saw that in the milk meta. We're like, no, I get the ghost.
Oh
You're
yeah,
kidding
that's
me.
true.
I have
That's
two acolytes and a major, and I was gonna like.
I lost the game because I fought a ghost. Yeah, that's true.
Like I don't know the whole buddy meter thing. It's so weird. It's I really feel like effective damage. Like that would better represent
That would
like how
change the
well you're
game
doing, right?
again, right? Like, yeah.
Well, I mean, it would make it back more to normal, right? Where it's like,
Is
well,
normal better? Is
well,
that's
what
the
were we
question.
doing before? Right? Yeah, I mean, once again, we can see like, is padding the meters optimal gameplay? Right? If
Yeah,
padding the
yeah, it
meters is
is right
regarding
now. Yeah,
optimal, yeah, right now it is, right? You
yeah,
got to pad the meters, but it doesn't feel like it should be optimal gameplay to pad the meter. Whereas, like, I don't really care about the fight effectively. I just want to deal more damage. All right.
sure.
Anyways,
Moving on, let's
that's all
keep
that
getting
matters.
through some of these heroes. Lich King. I was down on Lich King initially. Like I played in the pre patch before it came out, and I was like, it was whatever. Now I'm like, Lich King's good, but I haven't played that much Lich King. But I've played a lot of opponents with Lich King, and they're so toxic. Boy, are they toxic! They always go beasts, all right, and they always just go
Reborn
reborn
Knight.
mama, reborn croc, and then like what's that one card? The sewer rat. The sewer rat's actually so good if you're reborning because it'll just spawn taunts, and then you'll get more of them, and then they'll spawn taunts, and then you get more of them.
Wait, how much board space do you need for a reborn sewer rats
Oh,
with our
they end up reborning everything. That's always I like they're all
really?
everything is reborn. That's always the end game, and I'm just like, I have to deal with this. It's so frustrating too because you can't even snipe the Arthas because the Arthas will always come back. And then you're like, yeah, man, you got lucky, but not again. Here we go. Like,
Call
and
the
then
ambulance,
yeah,
but not for me.
yeah, and then at the end game, they just swap things out with my Exness. And it's just like, oh yeah, now you get 3 my Exness. Like it's even it's just like it's frustrating, but it works. So
Yeah.
I think Lich King's pretty good, if you go if Beasts are in, obviously, but yeah, so thumbs up for me. Mukla, I'm a big fan of Mukla. I think I liked him the most. Like I think I got to play him early, and I was always like, yeah, more stats feels good. So, and you get your buddy super quick. Free 6. This is quintessential free 6. Like you're really not selling your buddy until you get your 6 and you have like your full comp. So, um,
And the bananas really pump the meter,
really
right? You're
pump. Yeah,
maxing out your
you
meter.
always get your max like past turn like 2 or not 2 but 3 or so. Like you're always getting your max.
Yeah, once you've played the bananas where you have
Yeah,
the monkey on the
it's
board.
really nice. Gallowix, you win. Curator, I'm not as big on Curator as some people are. Just because you kind of have to work with your Curator amalgam, so it does take a bit of effort, and you're reliant on those hits that you need, right? If elementals are in, then you need the Doma. If dragons are in, you need the Whelp. Well, you don't need the Whelp or Kali or something. I definitely think it's a strong thing. If mechs are in, right, it's pretty nice. So, but it's not like as guaranteed like first place. Um, it always feels like the Gallywix ends up beating me or something when I play Curator. That's how I feel. Like, the Gallywix got there. The Verov got there. That's how I feel. But I mean, I definitely play curator because it's pretty good, but I'm not getting like that. You don't get that like, oh, I just have double Kelly super early. Well, sometimes you do if you're lucky, but like those are the games you win with curator, right? If you're not getting like those like super nice tempo starts, and it kind of falls off. You have
I
like
haven't played
one
him
big
yet.
minion.
Yeah.
You end up getting one big like Amalgadon, unless you're playing Tony stuff, but that's kind of a meme, honestly, because
Yeah.
you're very likely to die.
Some high end memeage.
Yeah. But you end up having like one big minion, and then people have like Amalgadons and stuff like that. They can like snipe your thing, so it can be rough. But I do think it's a super good hero, and I'm glad it's playable, right? Like I'm glad. I'm happy with some of like the heroes that weren't being picked before being picked now and being like viable because of a buddy, right? Like that
Two
feels
star
really good.
buddies, man. Just give them 2-star buddies.
A
Like
lot of them have twos, right?
I'm gonna throw the Rat King in there, right? Where
Yeah, Red
it's
King's
two
okay.
star. Yeah, you can play him, and honestly, the effect is relevant.
It's a
Like,
Nosdormu.
well, the cool thing you can do is you can roll until you find one of your tribes, then buy it, then the roll becomes 0 again because there's none in the shop. So you get a lot of rolls. Like I was able to just
Oh, that
spam
makes
roll.
sense. Wow, I didn't do that.
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah.
buy
So
it.
it's better than you think
I played
initially.
it
Like,
once and I didn't buy it. You're right, huh?
yeah,
Okay.
it's a lot of rolls. So
Because that essentially
especially like,
gives you one gold every time. Like
well,
it's
every time you roll, right?
no,
So
no, no,
it's
no, no. But like what I was doing, I was just like rolling past it. But if you buy it, like I
yeah,
mean,
it's a discount, right?
yeah,
It costs 1 gold less. Yeah. So I had this one moment which was glorious where I had a Hogger and I rolled pirates. So I was either buying the pirates or I was rolling for free.
disgusting.
That was beautiful. I was just like,
You
wee.
hate to see it.
But then I was playing full APM and it rolled pirate again. I was like, no, it's so slow. It's like buy,
Oh,
buff, buy. Like,
all
let me
right,
play my
right,
APM. Like, I
right,
can do
right.
anything. So yeah, it definitely is a bit of a double-edged sword. But hey, if you get full infinite on a Rat King, you'll take it because it's not like Rat King is OP or anything, but it's a 2-star buddy, and you can keep on until it's golden, and then you can take your 6, and then you can maybe have one more turn of some free rerolls, and then just ditch it, right? So it's very like it's like you mentioned, it's the 2-star buddies. Like if you're unsure on what to pick, just pick the one with lower stars. Sometimes you're just gonna have yeah. Sorry.
It's generally good advice, but it's like so simplistic, but it makes sense.
Yeah. Like, well, you get your highly influential buddy earlier, and you get to triple. And then once you've tripled, you can just ditch it.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. Malyghost, I think, can be super stupid, right? Because you can like, I think Malyghost likes combo comps a lot, just because like you're getting like you get the key combo pieces like Buster and Goldrin like early, or Eliza, you just get them. Like if you get that, like yeah, I can play that. Same thing like dragons. If you get like a Kali, double Kali, like it's still super strong. So you can stay on 4 the whole game with Malygos, right? One of those heroes where I don't feel pressure to level. Like for me, like I'm like, oh, I don't have to level here. Weird, for me. But getting early 6s, it feels like Galakrond got scuffed. Anytime I'm
Oh,
playing Malygos and I'm looking at Galakrond, I'm like, what the hell?
I don't
What?
play that.
Why? Yeah, definitely feels so weird, right? When you compare the heroes, I'm just like, huh. But yeah, Malygos super strong just because in token lobbies, right? Get your good early tempo, and then you get a really nice buddy. I think one of the better buddies. Like, I definitely feel it if I don't like if I sell it early. Like you'll feel like, oh, I don't have a buddy here. Like some of the buddies you can sell, and you're like, oh, I don't really care. But like this
Yeah.
one, it hurts. Um, Yog's kind of weird because it's still kind of high rolly in that.
It's 3 stars as well, but like if
Wait,
he's
Yog
like
is
one of those
2.5.
I was
2.5.
gonna say he's
Yeah,
one of your
yeah,
2.5s because he's Yogg.
yeah,
So you have more things on the board, you deal more damage.
yeah.
So yeah, 2.5 is a good. Yeah, so I've played a decent amount of Yogg games, and I think I've brand in most of them with the where I save
Yeah,
the
it's
body for
that's
the
so
brand.
unfair. it's,
Well, I
it's
mean, there's definitely some like, oh, I got hero power twice.
yeah,
Oh, I have,
that's
you
true.
know,
Yeah.
I haven't had like the nasty like, oh, I got the
Double
big,
consume.
yeah, like, or
Uh,
I have like the Dark Moon prizes, the good ones to get 6 of them or something like that. That hasn't happened yet. But it feels okay. And you just like, I try not to play around the second buddies too much. It's just like, oh, I'll just play them, and it's like a nice little thing, and then just get rid of them and just use it for tempo. And that's been okay for me. It's just the fact that Yogg has like having a good early game. It used to not be that important, right? It was
right.
way
Yeah.
more, yeah, like it was way more important. Like, can you do something like a Hook Tusk where Hook Tusk might lose some fights early because she's got some cats on her board, she's got some Tidehunter on her board, but then suddenly, boom, right? She triples into a 4, that might be good. The next triple might be a 6, and she just accelerates the game like that. Whereas now, if you would play like that, you just get bashed in the face, bashed in the face, bashed in the face,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
everyone is
Yeah.
like balls to the
Yeah.
walls tempo.
That's true.
But you can't just have a bunch of Tidehunter on your board right now. You just get completely stomped, right? Like people, myself included, are playing a Geomancer and then putting the gem on it straight away, just being like, let's go,
Yeah.
damage, go.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
anything you can do. You just throw everything in the kitchen sink at your opponent at every turn until your buddy is there. Just be like, all right, damage, 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 tempo, tempo, tempo. And in an environment like that, Yogg, his early game is really good because, like, yeah, try me. I buy things cheaper than you and they're stronger. Let's go. So it's, yeah, my Yogg games have been good,
Yeah, yeah.
but
I'm
I
not
can,
saying they're bad, but it the one issue is like you can whiff on your buddy. I don't think the hero is that like okay. So the first buddy matters. Like I think the second, third, like if you make it to the second, third buddy, like you're probably fine, right? And a lot of times you will, but like there's a couple that don't give you any like real tempo. The
yeah,
the double the hero power, it doesn't really feel that
yeah, it
important.
feels
The
it feels whatever.
A lot of times you're getting your Darkroom prizes. It's either turn 6 or turn 7, so you're getting tier 1 prizes, and it,
Yeah,
it doesn't feel reasonable to wait a turn for the 1 in 6 or 1 in 5 or whatever
yeah.
percentage. It doesn't. So you always
No,
play it.
and it is still tempo, right? You
Yeah,
can get the flag, you can get the coins.
yeah. So, but it's not like consumes insane. Steal it can be insane. That one is it's usually good, but sometimes you can whiff if you get like
Yeah.
4 cards. And it's not like I do
You
it.
definitely don't want to rely on it. You want to have something else going, and you want to really, really just use the buddy as this. I'm gonna play this, and maybe some cool shit happens, but probably it's just a little bit of, oh, I got extra gold, or I have some extra stats here or whatever, and then go next.
Yeah, I think the ones that just give you stats in the early game is just really nice. The +3/+3 on everything and the consume.
Yeah,
You just get a ton of stats, so you feel safe. You can level. You can do whatever. And if you get those ones, you feel really good. The other ones, right? Like they're more questionable. I would say. So that's the one caveat with Yogg, but still a good hero. Good early tempo. Doesn't lose or doesn't get eighth at least, but still kind of has that Yogg feeling in a sense where you've got like 2 turns to get a comp, and then sometimes your buddy will save you, and like, oh, your comp is you're just bigger than everyone else. But then if you don't get those like early hits, then you're kind of like, I don't know now. So yeah, pretty okay. We've talked about Barov. Brand's been questionable. Some games are just like easy win. Some games I'm like, man, I got unlucky. I had
and I can really tell you've played a lot of games. I have not played a brand game yet.
yeah, I played. Dude, Brand might be like one of my most played, probably. Because I even played them like one token and stuff like that. You definitely want to play double token. And I tried. I think it was today. I tried playing non battle cry centric, but the issue is like your egg doesn't progress the buff the your passive, so it doesn't.
Yeah,
You can't really rely on it. I was like, oh, maybe that'll help, but you can't really rely on that. Like even the gold, so you do have to kind of play Battlecry centric and hope you power spike and then do whatever. So it's still brand, right? But I would say um, maybe some of the more disappointing buddy. Like for a tier 2 buddy, it's not a buddy you can keep, right? This is the one of those like tier 2 buddies that kind of like I can't really keep it every time, right? It doesn't pay
Yeah,
itself off. So
it's just not strong enough.
yeah.
Or I mean, it doesn't do anything
Yeah.
for taking up a slot in combat. That is.
So yeah, I mean, it's one of those heroes where you can win, but you can lose, right? Like it has the same stats as Bear Off, but it has lower eighth and lower win. Like, but yeah, it is what it is. Jiraxis, haven't played Jiraxis, but Jiraxis is a bug right now where if you get a golden, you get double the same minions, so you get a ton of triples. So that bug, which actually I think is fine. Like they should just keep that. Like give Jiraxis a chance. Like technically a bug, right? But I think it's fine to keep it that way. Where if you make it to the late game with Jiraxis, you're just getting triples and triples and triples.
I played one Jiraxis game and I hated it. So
You hated it, yeah, because you're playing Jiraxis. I know, like you still,
Jiraxis.
it's a tier 3 buddy. You still have to play Jiraxis in the early game. I agree. Like I haven't played him.
I feel like those stats are just like, yeah, you guys play your Jiraxis. Go own on Jiraxis. I'll play my APM shit.
I agree with you. Like I'm just saying, like because you can get triples, you can hit dongs and stuff like that, and then you have a chance for the late game. Like it's not a great chance, but you have something that I can triple here into Amalgadon and do something. Right? Finley. Okay, so Finley, I my rating of Finley has dropped a lot from the initially. Like I had a
Super right now.
Yeah, super high. Yeah, but
you just can't like 2 stars.
That's the issue. Yeah, it when you play Finley, a lot of really good options become average to bad. Essentially, and that's the problem, right? You have the high rolls, but it doesn't outweigh the low rolls. I think because everything's a 3-star buddy, right? So like I hit Brand once, right, and I'm like, oh, I got Brand, I get double the egg or whatever. And it's like you get it like so late. You can't even play the egg. it's so late. Yeah. So it's like damn, it doesn't feel as powerful as it could.
Initially, we looked at the stars on the buddies and we're like, okay, yeah, that might matter. And now we're like, wow, that is actually just the only thing that really matters. It's such a big deal.
Yeah, so that being there, it hurts him a lot. You still pick him because you can hit 4-star buddies with Finley is really nice, and you're always getting that extra gold, right? Like you're always getting that extra 1 gold, so you do have that high roll potential. But it is definitely not as like snap pick Finley every time. So definitely drop down for me. Mutinous, I actually kind of okay with like. This one I think requires like an expert touch. Like you gotta really be a mutinous player to really like utilize it to the fullest extent when I'm doing this. I've had like some really good games, and I've had some games where like the mutinous stats like is so stupidly strong. Oh, don't triple the buddy. It's not worth it. By the way, like don't bother tripling. Always
eating that one the way before.
Yeah, always use the. I'm just tips because I've seen someone hold it, and I'm always just like, no, use it, eat it. Like don't like, and even with it's not even generally bad to eat it because if you get 2 buddies, right, you eat one. It splits on 3. There's a good chance it hits the other one. So you just consolidate the stats across the board. It's really strong. So really good.
I had some bad mutinous games at the start, but now that I understand the meta more, I will try to. Well, it needs to be a decent mutinous lobby, right? So demons need to be in. Preferably Murlocs need to be out, and then you can do some really cool stuff. So. It's so important to win those early game fights and progress the meter.
Ragnaros, I thought Ragnaros would be horrible because it's just tier 4 buddy. Like it can't unplayable, but no, it's not unplayable. Obviously it has a really high 8 percentage rate, but once it pops off, like if you can win your early fights and it pops, like you get so much. Like it doesn't feel that it should be as strong as it is. Like you get your buddy, sure, and then bam, you get what +12 return. for some reason it feels like it's enough. People just start winning, and I guess like with pirates, gold grubber is insane. Like the
Yeah.
stats I've seen on a gold grubber with this thing is like, what the hell? How
Um,
light fang as well if you can get there, but generally, if you can if you can get your buddy, you actually have a chance to win the lobby. So that's pretty cool for right. It's also weird because I don't think making this like a tier 3 buddy would be better because you still need your passive. I guess it'd be better because you get your second proc, but that means you're doing well, right? But like you need your passive. If you don't have your passive, this doesn't matter. Your buddy is like just sitting there like waiting. I've seen some Ragnaros with their buddy with no passive. I'm just like,
well,
oh,
it's
man.
harder to get the passive if people aren't playing for revenge as much.
Right,
We see way fewer acolytes, way fewer AKMs.
right.
And we just see these single hitters, right? Like Chroma Wing
Yeah, you
and
see a lot of like
Geomancer.
pup bot now.
Yeah.
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 So
So that's one body, and you might not even kill
I
it.
even kill it. Yeah, so that's true. So, but it's still
But,
doing okay. Kirchis, why is Kirchis in here? Apparently, Kirchis is doing okay. You top 4 with Kirchis, apparently.
yeah, I like playing Kurt. I've played
Okay,
Kurt
I
twice.
don't.
It's a 2-star buddy. I mean,
I
what
know,
else do you
I
need?
know, I know. Like,
It's a tempo hero with a 2-star buddy. Like, that can't be bad.
all
in
right,
this environment.
fine. So same thing with Cthulhu, right? Tempo here, 2-star buddy. Can't be bad, right?
I'm not sure if I would describe it as a
It's-
tempo hero.
What I mean, that's apparently. I think Ixty said he really likes Cthulhu or something like that.
I'll play with it. So
I haven't played.
When everyone was shitting on Cthulhu and being like, "Oh, this buddy is so bad," I was just thinking like, well, it is good tempo, right, in the fight because you temporarily the tentacle is big, right? So like, even though it's it doesn't really help you get buffs on these like priority targets, you still have a big thing. Yeah.
Big thing, and we like big things, apparently.
Hey, that progresses the meter, and then you get the golden thing, and then you get the wee.
I love the Wii. I agree. Wii stats, right? Wii, it's stats, yeah.
Wee stats.
Ysera's weird, especially with the hotfix, right? The hotfix kind of hurts her, right? Because now you don't get that Terrago, so it takes a while. I haven't played her after the hotfix, so I don't really know. Like it's like that things that affect specific heroes. If you don't play with them, like I could tell you how it felt before the hotfix, but now it's like I don't know. So that one's a bit weird, but you are still Ysera. If you get lucky, that's how I feel, right? You have to get lucky, and not die. But another thing you could do is stay on 1 or stay on 2 and just play like normally, right? I've also seen that and tried that, and just play normally, and then you go to 4 and you have your buddy, and then you're buying like 7 Terragosas, right? Which is pretty good, right? Your Prester is a 6-9 or something, or 6-8. Right, like you just buy your template stuff, and then eventually you hit your pieces. It's a little bit slower, but it feels safer, especially if you're winning your early fights. So that's something to look at, and you pretty much always get your triple, like a triple if you want to triple to 4 or whatever. Like I mean that's an option. You don't have to. So that is something to try with your Sarah if you want to play him or her and go that direction. But it's whoops, it's I don't know if it's good or bad personally. That's all I'm saying. It is a hero that does something. And you know how much we like those, I guess.
Yeah, I might try it depending on my options, but I'm not. I just don't like the game plan of Ysera.
Yeah, I mean, you're a lot of the heroes like that struggle. You just die, right? Like that's probably the main issue. You just die too much or too easily, I guess. It's too easy to die, and Ysera has a problem. If you don't get those perfect hits, you just kind of die. So hopefully, hopefully you get lucky. I don't know what to tell you. Moving on, you've got Flurgo. I like Flurgo a lot. I'm surprised Flurgo's this low, personally. Is this the what is this top 1? It is top 1. Okay. Yeah, I'm surprised Flurgo is this low. personally, because I do think if you survive the early game, you're and you, I mean, I guess you if you really want to like dominate, you do need to hit the brand still. But even without the brand, right, you triple every time. Like once you get your buddy, it is a tier 4 buddy. I guess that does suck. You're
Yeah, and you lose early, right?
not
Because Florg is
well. I guess you. Well, yeah. I mean,
you lose until like 8 gold, I think, right? 8 gold is where you're like, okay, I can maybe class
sure,
Wolfram or something.
sure.
And if you're losing up until 8 gold, that's a long time in this meta. So your tier 4 buddy is even more delayed. So
Well,
I
you
can
usually
see
get
that.
it like turn 7. Maybe turn 8 if you're unlucky, like really unlucky. But
I haven't played. I haven't
I
played
played
Florg
I
yet.
played a decent amount of Flurgle. You usually get like
Okay,
turn 7 or so, and once like the fact that all fours are um
prominence. Yeah.
yeah, I guess maybe people aren't doing that
That
as
is pretty
hard,
silly.
but the fact that you get primal fins every time, you get I would say get at least 2. 3 is like the nuts, right? Because you can triple it too,
Yeah.
right? It's like what the fuck, like
Oh
it's
yeah,
so
yeah.
stupid,
I didn't think
but
of that. That is really silly.
but
Okay.
but two at least is like okay, I need to go, right? And I like there's so many games where I'll play and I'm like, I can't finish this turret because I'm just lagged down. There's too much to do, right? Because you're still Flurgo, right? You're still getting things in the shop, right? It's just like yeesh. Right, so the one issue I think with Flurgo is the late game where it's hard to switch into dongs unless you're like super focused on it. A lot of times you have like 100 something statted Murlocs, right? But if people have dogs and stuff, you can still lose to that. So it's not like a guaranteed like winning, but there's definitely it's definitely like a strong hero. I think if done correctly, it is APM intensive, so maybe that's why it has like worse stats because I think any APM centric hero is gonna do worse, right? Because it's easier to mess up those heroes than like I play a Maexna and I'm top 4. Like, like that's good. Like that's hard. It's not hard to do. So yeah. I'm a fan of Flurgle. Cookie's kind of similar. If Murlocs are in, right, you get to choose what you want, and you can easily do Murlocs. You can do whatever you want, right? As long as you get to keep the cookie, right? If Murlocs are in, means you can keep um the buddy really easily, right? Where I mean, you still probably keep it most of the games, but sometimes you just have like a 2/5 Murloc that doesn't. It does like, and if you feel like you're gonna die, right? Like that's when you sell it. So it's not always guaranteed. But with Murlocs in, it's not user buff, so it's a lot safer. So I think it's playable. Jamdis, right? Jamdis one of those where the buddy doesn't matter, like, and you're still fine. Like obviously she's weaker because you don't have a buddy, right? Like I don't think I've seen people like have a golden buddy on Jandis, right? Like I don't think I've ever seen it, right? Where it's just it's a 4/4. Like it's not doing that much. Um but you're still just Jandis, right? If you get a Nomi or a brand or something, you can just do Jandis stuff. So it still works, but she's definitely weaker just because she doesn't have that buddy. It's a tier 3 buddy, right? If it's a tier 2 buddy, this would be a lot better, right? I mean, but that goes without saying. You could say that for every single tier 3 buddy, and just oh man. Um, any other like work? I'm not going through the full list. Any other heroes that we haven't talked about that jump out to you?
Patches felt good as well.
Yeah, patches. It's been okay. I played a decent amount of patches, and I feel like I've thrown like a lot of my patches games, so I feel bad. You know.
I think that's just how Patches feels, though. It's just like, I could have won. I could have won.
No, I feel like I've thrown. That's not. But I feel like that with a lot of my games. To be fair, so maybe you're right, but yeah, definitely solid, right? It's a worst galley wish. That's how I look at it. Like
Well,
honestly,
I mean, almost every hero is a worse Caliwix.
but not in like,
I
because
get it. It's similar, right?
yeah,
There's similarities, but I'm not sure if the similarities matter when you just say like, "Oh, this is worse than Gallywix." This like
But they kind of
I
do
don't
the
know.
same thing, right? Like, I guess
Sure, but I
patches is
mean,
more
th-
like specific.
doesn't matter if it's like similar things if it's just worse, right? Because I feel like there's maybe like 3 or 4 heroes that can compete with Gallywix for me.
Sure, sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's a patches. You play pirates. I tried doing non-pirate stuff and it didn't feel good. So I guess just do pirates. It's the same thing with like Maleficent. Try doing non-mech stuff. Yeah, never mind.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna play mechs here. You know, it's hard to. That's the one thing with the
Back into your box, mister. What do you
yeah,
think?
yeah,
Back
that's
of
the
your
one thing
box.
I think with the buddies. It's hard to like be super creative now because you're constrained with my decisions. You're like, I don't get my buddy power if I don't buy pirates, right? Gallywix is so free. I just have to use money. Oh, okay. I that's easy. It's not like the money that you buy or you sell, right? I just have to use money. What? Okay, I do that every game. Like, patches is like, well, I need to buy pirates. Same thing with like Maleficent and all that, where you're kind of constrained. So, that is something weird, right? Like the buddies do kind of force some of the comps you're required to play, like Nosdormu, right? Uh, a lot of the comps I would play with Nosdormu, and I have played Nosdormu, is like only because I have the buddy. If the buddy wasn't there, I wouldn't run any.
So what are you doing on the stormer then, other than the Felbats elemental thing?
Well, bad elementals and mechs, I think those are the three that I look at.
Mix,
Uh,
okay.
yeah, because you roll and you hit like a neuro module, like it's like a 8-12, like what? Okay, like take the 8-10, whatever. It's pretty good. So those are the things. Zephyrus, right? I think Zephyrus is pretty cool. Pretty busted, I
Feels like
think. If
old Reno, pretty much.
yeah, I guess that's the way of looking at it. Like it kind of
This is like I'm gonna find a triple and then I'm gonna make it golden.
make it golden. Yeah,
That's
that's
basically
true. I
the
guess Zephyrus is more Reno than Reno.
my chat told me that. I was just like, yeah. Then I played it like, okay, it's Reno. Yeah.
Yeah,
it felt exactly the same. It's like, okay, I'm gonna triple
but
into
you're
a frog.
Reno with 3 charges, I guess. Well,
Well,
I guess two.
your first charge is used
Yeah,
procuring
yeah,
5, and
yeah.
the
That's
second
true.
charge is used goldening the 5. But yeah, I mean, after that, you're still getting those buddies later, right?
Yeah.
And you still have that one remaining charge. So yeah, you can do things. It's just like it's tier 3 and he doesn't really get help early. So he does get beat up
I
early.
do want to talk about my F. I've had like really hit or miss games with my F because my F has been the hero where I get 99% the most. I
On the
don't,
meter.
yeah, on the meter, and it hurts so bad. Like because you get your golden a turn later, it's so punishing. So maybe like one thing for my F, you just have to really focus on making sure you get your buddy, um, correctly, because it's so rough if you have to delay your buddy a turn. Dude, I'm just remembering the games, and it's definitely like it's definitely a reason why you can like falter with Maev, right? Because Maev definitely has like her buddy is super strong, right? You get a golden minion, right? So you can target what you want, right? I don't think you usually use the targeting in the first, but it's the second application when you get the where you really target to fix your comp, right? If you're playing combo pieces, but um, it's just something I would warn people if you're playing my F to make sure that you're paying attention to your tempo and how much buddy you right. Because sometimes like you'll buy or you'll not you'll like hero power turn one. I don't think hero powering turn one on my F really helps you too much. Like I was considering I had like what's it called, the 2-1 and the 1-1. I had the Murloc, and I was like, do I want to sell this Murloc to hero power? Because you have to. It's 3 turns later, right? And that's definitely going to be the difference between like a 99% or something, right? So it's those are the decisions you have to make, right? Where you might. I don't know if this is true, but you might be like, I'd rather have the 1-1 here, like instead of hero powering, and that's just like, wow, that's interesting. But I do think you do have to be careful with my F just because getting that buddy is too important on the right turn. So yeah.
We're getting some frame drops, by the way. Just A heads up.
Frame drops.
Might be weird
Perfect.
for the recording. Yeah.
Um. Yeah, we are, huh? That's that's unfortunate. Is the audio good? I'm not really.
You're clear for me, but the stream is really choppy when I'm watching the stream. But Discord is coming through just fine.
All right. It looks like it's It was dropping. It looks like it's kick wait. Oh, it's dropping again. I don't know. Sometimes that happens. That's life. I'm not gonna. I haven't. We haven't had that many audio issues, right? Like,
Yeah.
and sometimes my stream goes down. I would say, I was. Dude, that was the one thing I was worried about when we started the podcast. Where I was just like,
Don't
it's
crap out on me.
it's just gonna drop every podcast. I'm just gonna be like, oh, I'm sorry, guys. But it's been okay. Well, that's. I don't know. There's not too much I can do about it. Um, you know, if I mean the one thing, I mean, the VOD should still be perfect, right? Like, just because
Let's hope so.
I'm not streaming, like I'm recording the VOD, so
Okay.
yeah,
Then it should be
it should be perfect. Yeah, as long as I can hear you, right? My internet's working because like I'm still connected to you. You know?
It's tough for everyone listening and not listening to the live recording. Then.
Yeah. So if you're here live, sorry about that. Like, but it should be fun for the people listening in. That's life. I'm not gonna cry about it. Moving on though. Some other heroes I think are cool. Alec here is pretty cool just cause if you have I've seen some super strong comps with Macaw, Goldrin, and the buddy, and everything has divine shield with Goldrin buffs, right? Like you go like Macaw, and then you have a Goldrin somewhere, you have the buddy somewhere, you have double cleave, and then you have divine shield, like 40/40 cleaves, like with Wind Fury, like it wins. But other than that, I've seen a lot of awkward games from Alec here, so I just have to be careful. But I do think it has potential. Blackthorn, I've reluctantly played Blackthorn. I like they just give it to me, and you shoot for Agam. That's how I play. You shoot for Agam, you don't hit Agam. I guess we lose. That's been my it's been my experience. Not like you lose, but like you're not winning the lobby. And even if you have Agam, you're not guaranteed to win it. You do have to be careful. You get so many gems. Like you gotta count your numbers because I played a game. I must have missed like 10 gems or something like that. Like over the course of the game.
I can see that.
Yeah, I'm like damn. Like I thought I had enough, but then I sell one bacon and it gives you like what is it like 6 or something? Yeah, it's like so easy to just and if you have like a black Captain Flat Tusk and like you buy sell, you've already missed gems. Like it's like geez, it's crazy. So yeah, you just have to be careful. Nazat I played once. You're trying to play Buster or Goldrin comp. That's been my experience. If you can hit a 6, you're good. Pyramid. I've seen people play Pyramid. I haven't played Pyramid. And I don't know what you do. I don't know what they're playing Pyramid with. Like I just don't know.
Probably dying for the most part.
Brutal, but I don't know. It is okay. Sorfang, I actually think Sorfang's okay. Like you don't necessarily win, but you can get like good stats on your mechs, right? It's kind of like a Nurse Dormu. With mechs, you just get good stats on your mechs, so it seems okay. The one issue is, of course, you have a tier 4 buddy. Like I think if Sorfang was tier 3, like he'd be quite up there. But the fact that you get it like super late and you lose the tempo and everything, yeah, it kind of hurts. Patchwork, people have been playing Patchwork a lot, and it's been okay. Like I think you just make poisons. You just make a super tanky poisons. That's really what I've seen people do. Like even a spore, or if you have a SI fin, right? You just have like easily 100 something SI fin. Like in the right lobbies, that can do so much work. Or a spore. Like imagine poison turn in. You just have 140 health spore. Like okay, like kill everything. So yeah. Secret Guy I haven't really done. People keep telling me Secret Guy is okay and you can do some meme stuff. And I played it once and it was okay, but it's like it feels like a top 4 hero sometimes to me. I don't. The late game with Secret Guy is actually a lot better because the buddy can give you like splitting, right? Like you like let's say you taunt the buddy, right? And you hero power you use your hero power for splitting, right? You can attack the buddy. The buddy gives you splitting. So you have two buddies. The buddy dies and then it gives you another splitting, right? And then you can get like automatron splitting, right? And then you get a divine shield buddy with splitting. It's like I don't know. I actually don't know if that works, but I'm just theorizing like that. You can go infinite, right? If you have a cause too, you can pop that off. If you have a Baron too, you can do some stupid stuff. So there's definitely some value with the buddy utilized correctly. It's just like it's hard to set that up, right? Like you either have to focus on it or you have to like just roll into all the pieces. So yeah. Wow, AFK is here, but I bet the play rate is like super low, so I'm not even gonna ignore it. I'm gonna ignore it. But other than that, there isn't like
It's like we're
super.
really digging now, right?
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
getting
Now we're digging exactly. I'm happy Reno isn't that good. I'm so happy. But in the round table, people were like, Reno's still gonna be good because he's Reno, and I was like, nah, Reno sucks. Nah, yeah, right, Reno. So, like to be fair, I didn't like Reno before, even the patch. I just didn't like the playstyle Reno, and I know everyone else did, but I didn't. I didn't like it. But now there's no justification. You just get eighth a lot of the time, even though the pick rate for Reno is so super high. Right? People just remember Reno and they like Reno, but I think it's gonna drop eventually. But it's just funny, and it's so sad to see the bad heroes, right? Uh, you know, Cario, Shutter. Wait, why Shutter? Well, it's Shutter. That's why. Never mind. Ariel,
yeah.
Rakanishi, right? They just like the buddy couldn't do anything, right? It's surprising, right? Bigglesworth. I guess Bigglesworth. It's not a non-tribe or non-minion type buddies, right? Like they suffer quite a bit. Like even tier 2, right? Cat can win. But I think I played Cat early. I think I played Cat early and I was doing well. And I think that was maybe before people really started like going full tempo, right? Now,
Yeah.
now, if I try playing Cat, it'd probably be a worse experience because people will just like be full tempo every time. So, uh, I initially thought Cat was okay, even though the stats were bad. But it's just like people just try to kill you every time. What are you gonna do about it? You know, it's rough. So yeah, those are the interesting heroes. Way more that I talked about than I thought I was gonna talk about. I thought I was just gonna talk about just a couple, but that's life sometimes. All right. Anyways, I think final thing is just like it's just some general tips. Like any questions, Shady, that you want to ask.
Oh, we've
What was my secret strat? Like I
we've
don't.
we've covered a lot
Yeah,
now.
we have. I know. That's the point.
So I think the general thing is high damage minions. So I'm just like saying what I'm doing, right?
Right,
And
right.
then we can fill in there. So high damage minions for the meter, tier 2 buddies, really go high tempo. Well, one thing I did notice is that it is really difficult to triple into a 6 where you're like leveling to 5 and then buy the thing as well. It's so expensive. It's so difficult. So
By
I
the
have one
what?
game.
By the what?
Sorry? Oh, so you have a triple frozen in the shop, right?
Oh yeah, that's why
So you didn't.
Elemental's broken. Because
Yeah,
it literally gives you the one goal to sell
yeah.
on
You
turn
sell, you
9.
go to
Yeah, and
10,
then you go to
and then
10.
go to 5.
Exactly. It's so broken. Yeah, but yeah,
But any other triple, right? You're just sitting there like,
yeah, you're
how do I
holding it. Yeah, you have to hold it. Yeah,
level? Yeah, so very, very awkward. So I've been using that more for tempo, taking a 4 or 5 in
yeah.
that spot, and then just afterwards figuring it out.
It's super hard to make your first triple 6 unless you're playing like Bear
Galley,
Off, yeah, or something.
Galley
Yeah.
or Barrow, or you can bypass that barrier.
Yeah, but other than that, it's super hard. You have to use your first one for a little bit of tempo, right? Like in the previous meta, right? My first triple being a 6 is pretty common. Now it's like kind of hard to do because
Yeah.
it just takes too long, right? Sometimes I'll hold like a token triple or something, or just because like I don't need it to play it. I feel strong enough, and then I'll get the 6. But it's not super common, so that's
Okay. Yeah, there's nothing really specific that comes to mind other than the stuff we've covered where I just don't have enough games. Like I'm for reference, I'm like 8.5 now or something with 3 days
Why aren't you
of
playing
play.
on EU? I don't want to fight you. I keep telling you, dude, stop doing it. I don't want
I
it.
play a lot earlier than you do.
Leave me alone. I don't want to see it.
I
Dog.
started playing at 7 a.m. or something. You're still sleeping now, so it's
Fine, fine, fine,
I don't know. I want to know the meta before I go to EU first, right?
fine, fine. Whatever.
Practicing on the NA server. I want to just like get out the gates, just boom, like slam dunk those games. Uh, yeah, I mean, I guess it feels a bit more the way how it feels right now is you have all these heroes that we mentioned that have like, oh, you can do your Illidan and do some crazy stuff. You can do some Millhouse and do crazy stuff. You can do your Gallywix, blah, blah. And it's like, oh, I didn't hit any of those. And it's like, okay, let me play Daryl. Let me play Kurt. In my case, so far, it's been okay. Let me play Rat King. Let me play, just anything with a 2-star buddy or something really, really tempo oriented. And then just turtle, right? Like turtle, turtle, turtle. Let the high rollers kill everyone else. I'm gonna save health. I'm just gonna do stats, and then I'm gonna run into an omega big Gallywix that's gonna kill me. Hopefully, when I'm in second place, and then that's
Copium.
that's copium, right? It's like second place for sure, copium. So that's sort of been my go-to, and I think that's my go-to in a lot of metas, right? It's like go for the high roll, and if you can't go for the high roll, you turtle, and you. I think in the previous meta, just because of how almost every hero could high roll, because you could still triple into a Nest Major and you could still triple into a Light Spawn. I played for the win a lot more there, where it was, oh, I just get to stay on 1 with any hero that I want. I get to then triple into a 4. If it's good, I can still play for the win. In this meta, it feels a bit more when I look at my hero, I'm just like, okay, I'm probably not playing for the win. Just because
Yeah,
it's so what your buddy does.
I play for the win every game. Like it's just it's just something I do, even though it doesn't always work out, right? The one thing I guess with climbing is like just avoiding like bottom 4 as well, right? Like
Yeah.
some I don't know. Like my last 2 days have not been like that good at doing that, right? I don't know if it's just a mental switch or something. Maybe I'm just like being lazy, or I'm tired or something. I know I was tired a couple of days ago, but
Yeah, I mean, people are catching up a bit, and you are probably putting
no,
more
I don't
pressure
think that's
on
it. I
training
don't. I don't
first.
necessarily think that's it. It's. You know when you're playing differently, at least, right?
Yeah, okay.
Right.
Yeah. If you feel like you're playing differently, then sure.
Yeah.
And just the feeling that you're playing differently can be a self-fulfilling prophecy of making you play
Yeah.
differently.
Mental is super big for sure when you're trying to climb or do anything. Just making sure you're good. You know that you're ready to play. Like sometimes I'll like this is a streamer thing. Sometimes you'll start a stream and then I'll play a game and I'll be like, I don't actually want to play or win the lobby. You know, like I just want to like jam some games. That's if you're trying to climb, that's a horrible mentality to have. You need to like be thinking, oh, how do I win this lobby? How do I every single game? So um, that is something I catch myself doing. Definitely a lot less, right? Like I'm trying to win. Like normally when I'm playing, like not any ranking, and like there's no pressure. I will like mentally check out of games, just autopilot them,
Yeah.
and I can't really do that right now. It's annoying. I I want to be lazy, but the chat will
It's
hound
like you
me.
got to be ready for like, okay, what can I do? Oh, like the brand Khadgar
Yeah,
miracle
yeah.
turnaround
Sure. I
type.
mean,
Yeah.
that not necessarily that, but that very willing to see the line where you can get So you find
Yeah, I
something
mean,
to do. Yeah.
that is a skill where you just have to sit down and say, okay, in the world where I win this game, what would need to happen? And then sometimes you're gonna say outrageous things. You're like, all right, well, that's just what I need to do then. And like either I can either just be screwed, or I can go for the crazy thing that might happen that can then win the game for me.
Something else you can do is go into the games with a game plan. Essentially, like not like it's hard to force it or so, but like be aware of like if I want to win the lobby, this needs to happen, right? Like you just have that in, like the back of your mind. If I want to win, it's very like oh dragons are in or something, and like mechs are in Like dragons will kill everything in the lobby. If I want to win, let's go dragons. And then like in the back of your mind, you see the Kelly. You see Kelly in the shop. You're like okay, let's take that transition. 2 turns later, you're like full dragon comp with double Kelly, and then you're like all right, no one can beat me because this is the comp that wins the lobby, right? Like so. That's something hard to do because it changes every single lobby, and then what's in, what's out, what your opponents are, what they're likely to play. It's not it's not as simple as I'm making it sound, but it is something you can do, just to kind of be ready to capture those like compositions that could win the lobby. So that is something that I do, and just sometimes autopilot, and a lot of times the compositions I like to play are compositions that will win the lobby. I'm just like let me play dragons, let me play pirates. Like it's just like because these win. But you'll see sometimes you're playing a game and then you're like, okay, I'm playing, I don't know, Kurtrus or something, and like, what are you doing? Like, you don't even know what am I doing with this here? I'm playing Kurtrus, I'm buying random minions and I'm pumping up my one mech or something, and you're like, that's not winning the lobby, right? That's not even top foring a lot of the times, right? But you don't know what else you're supposed to do, so you're just doing whatever makes sense, right? So
Going through, I guess, going through the motions is probably the best way to describe it, right? Once you start going through the motions, like you're like, oh shit, what's going
yeah,
on?
there's a lot of games where I'm just like, I see the play that chat would take, right? Because it just makes sense. And I'm just like, I'm losing if I do this,
Yeah.
But then the play I would
I
make.
won't look like an idiot
Yeah,
while doing it, right?
exactly,
That's
right?
the thing.
Dude,
No, I feel you.
if I really want to climb, I just not stream, right? But the thing is, why are you playing for rank 1 if you're not a streamer? Like what? Like
You just turn off chat. You just
no,
don't read anything.
it's like a catch-22, right? Like if I really want to climb, I just like play off stream. Like there's no snipers. You can no one's distracted. You can just like win the
You
lobby.
can balance it a little bit, right? I think.
Yeah. Obviously, I'm streaming. I'm playing all day. I mean, like, I'm streaming. Like I don't think it's a good idea if to not stream. I'm just saying like, going for rank 1, I don't think that's important. That's why I'm waiting for the announcement for Lobby Legends. Like I really need to know. Like, can I be top 4? Can I be top 16? Like, if you tell me I can be top 16, I'm just like, okay, let's just do whatever I want because I'll get there. At the end, I know that. So
gotta be top 1. There you go.
you see that's annoying, right? The like, if there was like immediate cash reward for top 1, right? I'm probably not streaming. I'm just I don't care. Like it's not financially. It's better to just get guaranteed the top 1 than to have the snipers and all that stuff like that. But they just don't have. We don't have all the data, right, for what is required. But I am playing because I know I need to be high rated, so I'm just doing that. But we'll kind of wait. But generally, I'm not doing like anything particularly fancy per se, right? I'm generally playing well, looking at my options, and then paying attention, and then also playing more games, right? Like those are the things, right? Sometimes I'll play less games during a meta. Sometimes I'll like throw games away. Another thing I'm doing is if I have multiple bad games, I know it's probably my fault, so I'll just like stop and reset. Like maybe I'll end the stream or something, right? Because sometimes like mental is so important, right? There'll be days where I just win every game, like pretty much, like just like 6, 7 first in a row. Like, there'll be days like that. But there'll also be days where I'm just like triple eighth, into like one top four into like another eighth, like
Then we're done for the day.
no. Like double eighth, I'm done. Like I'm cutting it out this time. Like instead of having those days where I'm just like streaming and I know I'm not really playing to win, I'll just end the stream. Like I'll just be like, all right, let's.
I do like that mentality. I mean, I do that too, right? Where it's like, if you get 2 8s in a row,
Yeah, it's me. It's me for sure.
Yeah, you're like, okay,
yeah.
1/8 already. You can be like,
it's probably still me.
Unlikely that I played that perfectly, right? I gotta get it.
Yeah.
But we'll be like, we'll give it then like even a 6th after that or something. I'm just
Yeah,
like,
it's right. Yeah, exactly.
what am I doing here? Right? That's when just switch to the other account and you say, okay, let me not lose more and more here, or take a break or whatnot.
That's probably the most beneficial for me. Like those bad days where I know I'm not really trying to win, I'll just stop. Instead of like, normally I just play it out and I'll lose my 500 MMR for the day, and I'll just like go go cry or whatever. I don't know. I just just sit there and wallow in self pity or whatever. But now I'm just like, all right, let me stop. Let me just reset. We'll have a better day tomorrow, and then you do or not, whatever. But you get to reset. So yeah, I mean, if you're in the right mental to play to win, to look for the outs, then you can play, you can win. But if you don't have that right mental, then you can just bottom, right? And it's so painful because it's a cycle too, right? You'll lose, and then I'll be thinking about my last game while I'm playing the next game. Like I'm not focused in my game whatsoever.
You have that like ram the play button mentality when you're out of the game. Like, like I'm not gonna take a moment to think about it. I'm not gonna process it. I'm not gonna mourn or grieve my game and be like, like you should. No, it's like ram the play button, and then start torturing yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I do ram the play button generally, but it is true. That when I lose, I'm just like, get me out of the. I don't want to sit there with the 8th place screen minus 140 or whatever. I don't want to look at that. Get me into the next game, please. So yeah, that's true. But that has helped me, just making sure you're ready. Also, just been eating well, on all that, sleeping well, right? Like
that is so important. Yeah.
Outside of the game stuff matters, exercising whenever I can.
Exercise is huge, man. Like it just, I think there's like literature on this as well, right? But it just makes your brain better.
Yeah, it does.
Just better at learning. Like, yeah, it's so, and you don't feel it all the time where you're doing it, but then you're not doing it.
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
Shit, right? Yeah.
I took a day off, like really just slacked that day, and the next day I was like, damn, what am I doing?
I'm not me. Yeah.
That's true.
I think it's, and if you don't, this is just like maybe some advice, or it's just like, like you younglings, right? But it's just getting some kind of a daily routine, like even if it's just 10 minutes or whatever, right? You ride a bike, you go for a jog, you jump some rope, whatever it is, something to like anchor that, or like, okay, I've done my exercise for the day, boom, right? And then just a lot of people that don't exercise, they might just have that, I'm just not that kind of person, or it's not so important for me to, like I don't want to be like buff or whatever. It's not a big deal, but it's just like, if it improves your mental game, right, then that's, for me, that's really why I try to exercise every day, because that's the real reason. It's just has all the other benefits as well, but if it improves your mental game, that's so worth.
I don't really care. I just like being fit, not dying, not breaking my back in the near future. Yeah, exactly. Mental game's just a bonus. I will gladly take that bonus. It's not like I don't wake up like I need exercise because my mental. No, I don't care. I mean, I do care, but I don't care.
Yeah, the thing is, you don't care when you wake up, but when you sit there and you're playing,
Yeah,
and
I
you're
know, but like it's
up, you're like, why didn't I exercise?
do I attribute my bad days for like I didn't walk around today. Oh my god.
Like I feel like if you're falling off the wagon and then you're having a bad day, that's for me that's
If
a
you're
very
falling
like
off the wagon, there's other problems, right? It's not just the exercise. There's other issues in your life causing you to fall off, and then it compounds on itself.
you fall off the wagon sometimes, right? You get sick or
Never
you're
fall
just
off, Shady.
distracted.
I'm always hanging at the back of the wagon. I'm ready to jump back in. Come on.
Hanging onto the wagon. I'm not letting go.
We'll get there.
I'm not letting go. All right, let's wrap it up. It's been great. I gotta get to bed.
All right, guys. And with that being said, I think that will be our ending for this podcast. It's been a great one. Glad to have you back. Not that Sapphire was bad or anything, but we've got this dynamic going. We've nurtured it over the years. It's beautiful, and yeah. Hopefully, I don't throw in the next couple of days. I will actually. I will throw. Just disclaimer. I wouldn't. At some point, just don't hassle me. We're just trying to play, trying to enjoy ourselves, trying to have a good time. I'm not gonna play perfectly. No one really is, but just trying to enjoy the games.
Enjoying the ride. Enjoy the ride.
Anyways, that'll be it for us. Thank you for joining us. You can send us feedback at hsbgpodcast@gmail.com. Find me on Educatedcollins. Find Shady at Shady. Join the tournament for Shady! Tournament and Shady's chat. You join Nicolia's tournament. It's going to be on Sunday. So if you want a tournament like super quick, like that's the one to go. Shady's on the 20th, I believe. So or the 22nd, 20th, right?
20th.
Yeah. So those are some things if you want to do. If you want to compete, if you want to watch some casting or so, you can do that as well. But thank you guys for joining us. We will see you tomorrow. Sorry for the audio issues if you're watching live, but it seems to be generally fine now. So
yeah,
sounds good. All right, get to bed.
Everyone,
take care of yourself. I'll talk to you later.